Hello, how are y'all? I hope you're all well. I hope you're all surviving amidst the pandemic at the moment, and if you are socially isolating, well, we all should be socially distancing. If you are isolated at the moment in your house though, if you are spending long days either working from home or just at home and you have been sent home and you have nothing to do, hopefully this is going to be a little bit of light relief for you. This is going to be about cream blushes. I don't know if you like cream blushes. If you watch me at all, you will know that I love a cream blush. I love cream blush in the pans, like in a compact. They're great, but as of recently I have been using the ones in little tubes a lot more often. Now I say as of recently, but the first brand that kind of put me onto this was Glossier. I speak about Glossier quite a lot. I am a bit of a sucker for Glossier, but let's talk about the Cloud paints, because that is the first reason that I kind of thought a squeezy out of a tube blush. Before that I was using either like a stick cream blush or, as I say, the ones in the little compacts. So for anybody that doesn't know, these are the Cloud paints from Glossier. I have two here. I used to have three. I had one called Dusk as well, but I used up quite a lot of that and then it kind of got a funny smell, so I threw it away. I have been aware of these for just over 2 years now. I think we're coming up on 3 years since Glossier came to the UK. I'm almost certain of it. And at the moment I have Storm and Haze. Haze is this lovely kind of berry colour, and if you're putting it on your cheeks and you've got fair skin like me, it gives you that almost just been out in the cold look. And Storm is a little bit more, it looks quite reddy pink on the camera there, but actually Storm is quite a almost ruddy brown, like a terracotta colour, I would say. I do use this with a lighter hand. It is quite dark, but it gives a lovely effect, and it's one that I'm probably more inclined to wear during the summer months. Now these aren't the most affordable products in the world. I think you can buy a set of 2 for a cheaper deal, but I will link everything down below so you can go and check out the prices and things like that. I'll maybe even stick it on the screen so you can see the prices of each product I'm talking about. Now I will be putting in little cutaways of each of the products I'm using to give you an idea of what they look like on the skin, but with regards to the Glossier ones, I don't want to go into too much detail because this isn't solely about them, it's about the brands who have kind of copied them. I love these. I think they're really, really good. I would highly recommend them. If you are going to pick anything up from Glossier, then I would put these at the top of my list. There's maybe like 5 things that I would say, yeah, you've got to try, and this is probably within those top 5 that I would say you've got to try. So I don't want to go into too much detail about them, but they definitely were the first brand I've seen doing this really like cute little paint pot, like an acrylic paint or an oil paint. I hadn't seen any brands doing anything like that before, and all I've ever heard about is good things. I've never really heard anybody saying that they don't like this product. So it is a really good product, but I'm not going to stick to speaking about them at the moment. So that gives you a little basis of what I think of these, how much I like these, and what I've seen recently is a lot of other brands either completely and utterly duping these and what they look like, or doing something very, very similar. And because of that, I wanted to try these ones out and see how they worked, because they are a little bit less expensive and a lot more accessible in shops like Boots and Superdrug, etc. Obviously online at the moment, do not be going out to the shops for blush. It's not an essential. What we are going to speak about are the brands who have copied them. So these are 3 different brands and 4 different colours, and I would say slightly different textures as well. I would definitely say these are a completely different texture from these 2. I have done a whole video on these already. I will stick that video up here if you fancy going and watching it. These are the You Do You cheek and eye tints from Collection, used to be known as Collection 2000. You know what I was trying to say there. So these are from Collection, and they are underneath the kind of sub section called You Do You, and I have a video on that whole collection. So if you fancy getting into that and you want to know more about that collection, then please go and visit this little link up here. But we're talking about the actual cheek and eye tints. This one is in Bare and this one is in Flush. This is like the pink one. This is the one that I do have on today, so hopefully that gives you an idea of what that looks like on like a kind of fairer skin tone. The highlight isn't the blusher, that's something else, so just ignore the kind of sheen because it doesn't give a sheen. but the colour is the colour that I have on today, Flush. With regards to Bare, I have also tried this on the cheeks and I'm very, very impressed with this one as well. I feel this one works better as a cheek and eye tint. I wore this on my eyes several times over the past kind of 2-3 weeks. I think it's really, really nice. I have to say, I've not tried the pink one on my eyes yet. It's not what I've got on today, it's something completely different. If you follow me over on Instagram, I will put my name here. You will see a very quick kind of IGTV of me doing this kind of pink look. Springtime, we're trying to kid on like it's springtime and we're in pastels, even though we're not going anywhere, even though we're all still in the house. So if you fancy seeing how to create this, then head over to Instagram and follow me there. You will see my IGTV. Moving back onto these are so affordable. They're so cheap. I can't say enough about them. I am really, really impressed with them. With regards to texture, I think these are a little bit different. They're not like the Glossier ones. The Glossier ones are like liquid, but a stain. I'm sorry, I'm just putting this on the back of my hand so you can see. So the Glossier ones, there we go, that's the pink colour there. And the reason I was rubbing it on the back of my hand is because when you put this on, it's definitely a liquid to start with, but it kind of is that liquid to powder formula. You've maybe seen that before in like a foundation, a liquid to powder formula, or in one of the palette type cream blushers, they go like kind of a liquid to a cream. So I feel like these almost sit on top of the skin rather than stain and stick into the skin, whereas I would say the Glossier ones are definitely more of a stain. If you ever used to use Benetint by Benefit, the really bright red one, or maybe you've used like Posy Tint or Cha Cha Tint, they do lots of different versions of it. It's a liquid, but it definitely like stains the skin as opposed to just sits on top of it. And I feel like the Glossier ones are more closer to that than these are. These are definitely something that more sits on top of the skin and gives you that like flush of colour. But because of that, I think they are easier to work with than the Glossier ones. I don't find the Glossier ones difficult to work with. I think they're really, really good. But if you've never used cream blush before, or you're a little bit dubious, or you always found that cream blush always went a little bit patchy, or you just felt like, you know, it started okay here and then you move it and it moves your foundation, or anything like that, you maybe use too much and you're just thinking, oh god, now I look like Coco the Clown. I think these are your best bet. If you're really just starting out, then give these a go, because they are so user friendly, and as I say, very, very affordable and very, very accessible, available in Boots or Superdrug. Next up we have the liquid blush from B by Superdrug. I don't know, I've never actually used anything from this collection, this brand, whatever, in Superdrug before, so this was a first for me. I got the colour Apricot because, to be honest with you, I didn't want to get like 4 pink blushes. What would be the point in that? And I don't have a cream blusher in this coral colour. I have a stick blusher in this coral colour, but I don't have a cream one, so I thought, why not try this? As you can see here, this is almost identical to the Glossier blushes, with the exception of the colour is obviously on the front here and not like a little paint tube. Everything else about it, the lid, everything is exactly the same as the Glossier blush, so you can't say this hasn't been a little bit of a dupe right here. Now, as I said, I do have little inserts here just so you can see me applying this to my skin, because I was wearing more of a orange eye colour the other day, so I put on a coral blush. Now, my first impressions of this when I opened it the other day was that this looks really, really like a vibrant orange colour. On the actual lid here, where I squeezed some out, this was much more chalky than I expected it to be. I thought this was going to be a really, really, can you see how chalky that is? I thought that this would be a really vibrant orange. In saying that, when I put it on, the texture of this certainly isn't like the You Do You ones. This one doesn't go kind of cream to powder. I feel like this one is more of that kind of almost a waxy feeling. It doesn't go to a powder, but it also doesn't have that stain effect that the Glossier ones have. But I don't dislike the feeling of this. It doesn't feel oily to me. It almost leaves a bit of a sheen, and I quite like that when I'm putting on like things on my cheeks. I quite like to have that glow. I have to say I was just a little bit underwhelmed by the colour. It was much more, I don't know, do I want to say it was more orangey? it's a little bit more yellow than I expected, but then of course the colour is apricot. I maybe should have known that. I thought it was going to be a bit more coral, and it just was a little bit more underwhelming than I thought. You can see it next to the pink there. They're both relatively sheer, but I just expected this to be a little bit more than it was. In saying that, again, this is a relatively affordable brand and a very accessible brand in Superdrug. So if you are thinking, you know, I quite like a sheen in my blush as opposed to a powdery effect, I didn't think it was bad to blend. It was easy to blend, and I think the actual desired effect once I had it on my face was very, very nice. Just a little talk about wear time, because I just realised I didn't really say anything about that in regards to these. These pretty much lasted the whole day I had them on. If I had put them on at, let's say, 12 in the day and I was taking them off at 8 at night, then they were still there, maybe a little bit died down, but I still certainly saw them there, especially when you're putting them on the eyes. I didn't see any kind of breakup. I didn't get, maybe very slight creasing, but I do have relatively oily eyelids. But if you're just putting it on for a wash of colour for a bit more of a natural look, it was really good. And where it did crease, I just kind of rubbed it and it went back. Like, the wear time on these were really good. You're obviously not going to get creasing on your face, so that's not something you have to worry about. If you're wearing them on your eyes, there was a very slight bit of creasing, but the colour was still definitely there. This one throughout the day, I think it stayed the whole day as well. I can't say that I felt like it dulled down any. I can't say that I feel like it wore off. I still seen it at the end of the day when I was washing my face. So again, really like decent kind of cream blush. What can I say? There was nothing about it that I thought I really disliked this. I just maybe wasn't so keen on the colour. It just wasn't as vibrant as I hoped it would be. So for that reason, that's the only reason I would give it a thumbs down. Otherwise, I would say, and I mean, you could try it in other colours. Maybe other colours are slightly different. Maybe it's just this orange one that lets it down. But I would definitely say, you know, give it a look. I would probably skip on the coral one if that's what you're looking for. I can't imagine that's going to show up too much on anybody with a darker skin tone than me. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just feel like it's just a little bit underwhelming. That's the only bad point I have to say about it. And finally, we have Maybelline's Cheek Heat. Hi, this is Alana from the future, because when I started editing this video, I realised didn't actually mention one of the blushes that I tried. This is the MUA Makeup Academy Blushed Liquid Cream Blush, and I've got mine in Misty Rose. I do have a cutaway, by the way, cut my own fringe. Don't think it looks too bad. Just in case you're like, you look totally different. Yep, I just, quarantine, lockdown has me chopped it off. Anyway, this is really nice. I really like this. I do have a cutaway of me trying it on because I did actually try it. I have tried all of the blushers on more than just the one time from what you're seeing in the cutaways. I think the wear time on this is really good. I would say this is in the same bracket as the You Do You from Collection. It's very affordable. Makeup Academy are a very budget friendly brand, and I think that the colour is really nice. It's called Misty Rose. I would say it's maybe more of a kind of coral. I definitely wouldn't put it in a rose category. It's much more orange than it is pink. Don't know if you can see there. There we go. It's kind of pink there, but to be honest with you, I would put this more of a coral colour on my skin tone. Might be different on other skin tones, but for me, I think it's more coral. It's a little bit more orange. What I would say about this texture wise, it is probably closer to the Maybelline one or the B from Superdrug one. It is not powdery like the You Do You from Collection. So that is the views on that. I would say this is probably a very close second to the You Do You for the simple reason it is very budget friendly, it is long lasting, it is good for colour, and the texture of it is very nice as well. So just little insert there. Totally forgot to speak about this one. I am so sorry. And here's the rest of the video. There was plenty of colours of this, lots of different ones. I picked up, this is supposed to be Nude Burn. So I ordered this online and it was supposed to be a nude colour, and if you ask me, that is straight up pink. That is pink in the tube. Like, there's no way I would say that is a nude colour. It did not look like that online. If it had been, I'd seen this in a shop, I probably wouldn't have picked this up and thought this was nude. And saying that, this states it is a gel, sheer gel cream brush. So the texture is, again, slightly different. It is a little bit more what's the word I'm looking for? Certainly isn't see-through or anything like a gel, but it just isn't, it's just not the same texture as the other two. And I don't know how to describe. They were more like paints, like when you squeeze them out, they are proper, they look like a little blob of paint. This one obviously becomes a bit of a powder. This one just kind of became a bit of a stain, not much going on. This looks like an oil paint, so this one does look a slightly different texture. It is thicker. I don't know how to like explain that either. And I would say it is a little bit stickier. Like when I was putting it on my cheeks, again, I'll have a little slot in here to show you. It was a little bit more kind of sticky. It's sheerer. It almost as if it has a little, again, like kind of oil based, like a waxy texture in it. And it makes it much more sheer because, I don't know if you can see there, there we go. It is, do I want to say it's almost like it's mixed with wax or like mixed with some sort of lip balm type texture. And to be honest with you, this I think stayed stickier on my cheeks, but again gave it that sheen. I don't know if you can see it there on the back of my hand. Now the colour with this, I was surprised because it wasn't bright pink, but also I was kind of mildly disappointed with this as well. This is probably the most expensive from like drugstore stuff that I would say is duped Glossier, and I don't know, like I just thought that, is it a pink? It's not that. I mean, this is obviously like a candy floss pink. This not so much. This is maybe like a nude pink, but I expected this to be a little bit more nude, a little bit more like a just plain nude colour, as opposed to this kind of, I don't know, nude burn. This is not nude, and it is not at all as vibrant as I would have expected it to be. It does say it's a sheer blush, but just for saying's sake, I'm going to show you Storm on the other side of that hand, just so you can get an idea of what that looks like. Now, the thing with the Glossier blushes is a little bit goes a long way. They are so vibrant, and as you can see, look how dark that is. That's this one. Look how dark that is, and a little bit goes a very long way. And you have to be careful with them, because if you use too much, if you take out a whole, like you squeeze a whole like ball out, then you're gonna have far too much. So that is Storm, and it is a really vibrant color as opposed to the other ones. I just think that the pink one, you can kind of see the pink one, but really out of all these colors here, this one is actually, it's proper. You can see it from miles away, and it continues to blend. Like I've just put it there, but it continues to blend. Like you can see how much you can blend it out. It's very movable. I don't think showing it on my hand is really good. It looks different on your cheeks, obviously. But the pigment in these, I mean, you can see it there on my fingers, the pigment in these is so unreal. I just feel like this one can't even begin to try and justify it. This is probably the one I was most disappointed with. Firstly, because it was the most expensive. Secondly, because the packaging did not pertain to what is in the actual colour of the tube. And to call this nude to me just seemed a bit strange. Also, I just think it was the most sheer. There was really, you can see it just like, you can see it on the back of my hand there, but in comparison to the other two drugstores, I mean, you can see that one still got that kind of orangey tint there, and the candy floss pink colour is really quite obvious. I have to say though, none of them really live up to these guys. These are just like a different creature altogether. So all the ones from the drugstore that I've tried, they're trying to live up to them, but I just don't think they're doing the same thing. In saying that, if I was going to go with anything, I would go with these, because they are the most affordable, they are the most user-friendly. You can apply more over the top. If you feel like the colour is not enough, then put another layer on. I just feel like these work the best out of the ones I've tried from the drugstore. I don't know if you have tried any other ones from the drugstore that you thought were particularly good, or particularly really like a like for likeness with the Glossier ones. Let me know if you have. Put something down below, or message me over on Instagram, give me a DM and let me know. But I've been really impressed with these ones, I have to say, and I think if I was to pick a winner, then again it's going to be this. And as I say, I'd done a whole video on it. I was impressed then, I'm impressed now. I will use up the bee one over the summer. I think once I've got a bit of a tan, this is going to look really good in the summer with like a coral lip, or you've got a bit of a tan, coral always looks really good. So I think that would be quite effective, hopefully. But this one, I think I'm going to really struggle to use. I'm going to have to find, like, I don't know, it's just such a nothingness. I don't know if I will ever actually use that. Obviously I will not waste it, but it might be one that I'll maybe even just pass on to someone, pass on to my mum, someone like that, because she would probably like something that's a little bit not as vibrant. So this is a Glossier one, this is this one here. You can barely even see it on my hand, like you have to turn the light a certain way to actually see it there. You can see it there now. This is the most disappointing thing. This is the most expensive other than the Glossier ones, and I would say give this a hard pass. I don't know, maybe you will think otherwise. Maybe you're like, actually this is my favourite one. If it is your favourite one, again, let me know what you think. Maybe there's a different colour that works a little bit better than this one. But anyway, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. It's just a little bit snippet into the kind of cream blushes that I like and what I had been trying and what ones are worth your money. I hope you are all well, I hope you are all getting on okay, and I hope to see you all again soon. Please like, please subscribe, do all that stuff down below. If you don't want to, that's fine too, and I'll see you all again next time. Bye!